Thanks to all the witnesses for being here. Ms. Cook, I want to say thank you especially to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for telling your story. And I'm sorry for what you and your family have had to endure. And it's powerful to have you here today. Thank you very much. I want to talk about some of these policies that have gotten to where we are today. Mr. Jackson, if I could just start with you. You were deputy director in the Biden White House for gun violence and a special assistant to the president. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You're also affiliated with the Community Justice Action Fund. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm also a survivor of gun violence.
You were their executive director. When was that, the Community Justice Action Fund?
2021 to 2023.
And you're affiliated with them now?
Yes, as executive advisor.
Okay. The Community Justice Action Fund do you disclose your donors?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to America Patriots, the channel where common sense still exists, coffee is strong, and politicians actually reading reports out loud is considered a national service. If you're new here, hit subscribe and smash that like button. Because every time you do, somewhere in Washington, a bureaucrat gets nervous. And drop a comment below. Tell me, have you ever seen someone deny a report while someone else is literally holding a report? Because after today, I can say I sure have. All right, folks, let's get into this wild congressional hearing clip featuring Senator Josh Hawley grilling Mr. Jackson. And let me tell you, this thing goes from routine questioning to political gymnastics finals real fast.
Yes.
All of the donors are public?
Yes.
You're funded by the Tides Advocacy Group, among others?
They're a fiscal sponsor.
This is right.
They handle our HR.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a George Soros funded group?
No.
He's one of the donors?
No.
He's a donor to the Tides Advocacy Group.
Yeah, that's our fiscal sponsor. So they handle our HR, our back office, our operations.
Great. Okay. Great. So in other words, I mean,
we're one of 300 organizations.
Right. That they run. You are a subset of them.
Pay them to be a fiscal sponsor.
Well, you are a subset of that organization, which he helps to fund, right? Okay. All right. Just wanted to get a level set here. So I want to ask you about some of the policies that you've advocated, because they're exactly what we see implemented in these blue cities, like defunding the police.
No.
Indeed.
We advocate for.
Wait, I haven't asked a question yet. We'll get to. I've got a lot of questions. Believe me, and I'll give you time. So let's talk about this report that you issued when you were executive director, a Policymakers Playbook. And I'll ask you to enter it into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Great.
Without objection.
Thank you. In this report, you advocate, and I quote now, defunding the police because the long-term goal is fundamentally to reimagine how the state serves its citizens in the project of public safety. You go on to say police departments traumatize residents through a destructive cycle of racist over-policing, and the answer is not to add any more money to police budgets. Talk to me about, why is it that denying policing to the most vulnerable communities is a solution? I know that's what the blue cities are doing, but why is that a good idea?
Well, look, I in no way stand with defunding law enforcement.
That's what your report says.
Sheriff Mike Sheridan, who taught me how to drive when I was 16 years old.
Wait. Your report, when your executive director said you wanted to defund the police, do you renounce this report? Mr. Jackson, do you renounce the report that you authored as executive director? Here it is.
You're the second senator to bring up an op-ed or
this isn't an op-ed. This is your report, a Policymakers Playbook to reduce gun violence without policing communities.
Okay.
Community Justice Action Fund, copyright 2023, when you were executive director. Now you say you don't know anything about it. Now you say that you haven't heard of it, just like the Democrats who all of a sudden say, oh, we're all for the police. They've been advocating defunding them for years.
Okay, well, you can look at documents or you can look at results.
My question is, do you renounce this report now? You say you no longer agree with this.
And my answer is that I led the efforts to invest $42 billion in law enforcement.
You've advocated defunding the police as executive director of an organization that you still lead and are affiliated with.
Never see me advocate for that directly. What you see me advocate for is a comprehensive approach to reducing violence.
Right. The comprehensive approach is defunding the police, which is what this says
the entire time.
This is so typical of what the Democrats do now. After your policies have transparently failed and led to the deaths of millions of Americans, now you say you've never heard of defunding the police. Your own report recommends it on page after page after page. Let me ask about something else you say. Here's what you say we ought to invest in. Instead of funding the police, here's what we ought to invest in. We need to invest in programs that acknowledge the need for safe space initiatives led by lesbian, gay, bisexual, two-spirit, trans, and gender nonconforming people. What's two-spirit?
Well, look, I don't know exactly. You guys are pulling some interesting quotes.
This is from your report.
If you look at the report, the focus is on investing in violence intervention, outreach workers.
You say that you shouldn't invest in the police, but we ought to invest in two-spirit community programs that acknowledge two-spirit individuals.
We are not going to discriminate against that. We're not going to discriminate against any nonprofit that wants to help us prevent violence in our community.
What is two-spirit? You say don't fund the police, but do fund programs that create safe spaces for two-spirit people. What is? I just want to know. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I honestly, I'm not completely aware of the language or the spirit of how that was written. But what I'm telling you is that what is
a two-spirit individual? I mean, really, this is your Policymakers Playbook. You are the witness called by the Democrats on this committee, so I assume you reflect their views. Well, you don't want to fund the police. You want to fund safe spaces for two-spirit individuals. What is a two-spirit person?
I feel like I'm looking at a two-faced individual because you talk about reducing
violence. Oh, no, sir.
Violence.
You're looking at somebody who's reading you your own words, and I'd like to hear an answer.
Programs.
Here's the answer. The answer is you don't have any solutions. You want to invest in gobbledygook and take away money from police officers who actually keep our communities safe, and when you're called on the record, you deny it. It's all there in black and white, and your record is there in black and white, and it's a disgrace.
We reduced homicides by 31%, and as someone who's been shot and nearly killed, I take offense that you would think that the last 13 years
you won't answer my
we're not focused on
that
reducing
you deny
violence.
your own words and that you are leading this committee astray. And frankly, sir, your policies are absurd. They're absurd.
I don't think we're getting any place, so let's...
So Hawley starts polite. Thanks to witnesses' classic Missouri manners. Then he asks Mr. Jackson, former deputy director for gun violence in the Biden White House, now an advisor at the Community Justice Action Fund, some basic questions. All calm so far. Then Hawley brings up the Tides advocacy group and the connection to George Soros funding. And suddenly we're in the 6 degrees of fiscal sponsorship portion of the conversation. Look, if every time someone mentions a donor, your explanation sounds like you're describing your friend's cousin's roommate's Uber driver, something is going on. But we move on. And then Hawley pulls out the document, the Policymakers Playbook, the one Jackson's organization put out when he was the executive director. Hawley reads from it directly. The report advocates defunding the police. It's right there in black and white. And Jackson says, nope, he didn't advocate that. And Hawley says, sir, I'm literally reading your report. And Jackson says something like, well, that's an op-ed or a report or something. At this point, I'm waiting for him to claim it was written by space aliens. Then comes my favorite part. The report recommends funding safe space initiatives for LGBTQ+ and two-spirit individuals. Hawley asks calmly, what is two-spirit? And Jackson says, well, I'm not exactly sure. My friends, if you're recommending we fund it, you should probably know what it is. That's not political. It's just the bare minimum homework required to spend taxpayer dollars. Hawley asks again. Jackson still can't define it. Yet the report recommends funding these programs instead of police. So Hawley asks, why should we fund this instead of policing? And the whole thing turns into a merry-go-round of, I didn't write it. I wasn't involved. I don't know the terms. I never said defund. Even though Hawley is reading the line straight off the page. If I ever deny something while someone's holding the receipts, please revoke my America Patriots membership card. Then Jackson tries to flip the conversation, brings up violent stats, his personal experience as a survivor. And look, genuinely, I respect his experience. That's real and he deserves respect. But a personal story doesn't erase policy contradictions. You can't say, I was in charge, I oversaw the report, but I didn't write the report, and the report doesn't say what it says, and if it does say that, I didn't mean it. That's not a policy position. That's a high-level choreography routine. Through it all, Josh Hawley stays calm, focused, and factual. No yelling, no insults, just steadily holding the line. That's exactly the kind of spine we need in Congress. Here's the truth. You cannot reduce crime by removing police funding and replacing it with committees, consultants, and safe spaces no one can define. Crime requires law enforcement. That's not right-wing. That's reality. Investing in communities is great, absolutely, but not instead of police. You don't replace your smoke alarm with aromatherapy candles. You don't replace your brakes with inspirational posters. And you don't replace trained police with buzzwords that sound like they were generated at a drum circle retreat. And when you advocate for these things, own it. Don't pretend the documents wrote themselves. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button for America Patriots. I promise, we actually read our own reports around here. Give this video a like if you believe police keep communities safe. Drop a comment if you've ever witnessed someone deny their own homework in front of the entire country. And share this with someone who still thinks congressional hearings are boring. This one definitely wasn't. Until next time, stay strong, stay free, and stay patriotic.